Ever found yourself at odds with someone's overwhelming ego, seeking a path to healthier, more balanced interactions? Today, we embark on a thought-provoking journey with 10 golden rules to transform relationships. A Stoic guide, drawing inspiration from the Stoics, like Epictetus, who taught, "Any person capable of angering you becomes your master." We'll explore how to engage with others more mindfully and effectively. Let's uncover how to navigate the complexities of human relationships with grace and wisdom. Number 1. Listen more, speak less. Let's delve deeper into our first golden rule. Listen more, speak less. In a world that's constantly buzzing with noise, opinions, and endless streams of information, the act of truly listening has become a rare gift. But here's where the magic happens. When you choose to listen more and speak less, you're doing more than just hearing words. You're creating a space where understanding and empathy can flourish. Let's imagine a scenario. You're in the midst of a heated discussion with a friend. The topic? It hardly matters, because it's the egos that have taken the front seat. The air is thick with tension, each of you waiting for the other to finish, not to understand, but to counterattack. Now, pause. Imagine, in this moment, instead of planning your next verbal assault, you decide to truly listen. Not just to the words, but to the emotions, the unspoken fears, and hopes behind them. As you listen, something shifts. Your friend feels seen and heard, possibly for the first time in the conversation. This doesn't mean you agree with everything being said, but you're showing respect for their perspective. And here's the surprising part. As the ego recedes, so does the defensiveness. The conversation transforms from a battleground to a bridge of understanding. Listening more and speaking less is not about silencing your voice. It's about empowering it. When you do speak, your words carry the weight of consideration and thoughtfulness, making them far more impactful. This approach doesn't just apply to arguments. It's equally powerful in everyday interactions. Whether it's a casual chat with a colleague or a deep conversation with a loved one, listening intently can change the entire dynamic. So, the next time you find yourself in a conversation, challenge yourself to really listen. It might feel counterintuitive at first, especially when everything in you screams to be heard. But remember, it's often in silence that we hear the most. By adopting this Stoic practice, you're not just breaking down someone else's ego, you're also cultivating a profound strength within yourself. A strength that comes from understanding, patience, and the quiet confidence that doesn't need to shout to be heard. Number 2. Reflect, don't react. Moving on to our second golden rule. Reflect, don't react. This principle is about cultivating a space between stimulus and response, where wisdom and clarity can take root. It's a Stoic practice that challenges us to be masters of our own emotions rather than at the mercy of them. But how does this work in the real world? Let's paint a picture. Imagine you're faced with a comment or action that feels like a direct hit to your ego. It could be a critical remark from a colleague, a dismissive gesture from a partner, or even a harsh word from a stranger. The instinctive response: react. Defend your ground, retaliate. Let your emotions lead the charge. But here's where the rule comes into play. Instead of reacting on impulse, you take a moment, a breath, a pause. In this pause, you reflect. Reflection in this context means asking yourself a series of questions. Why did this comment affect me so deeply? What's the emotion I'm feeling? And is there truth to the criticism? And if so, how can I use it for growth? This reflective process does something remarkable. It transforms the potential conflict into an opportunity for self-discovery and personal development. Now let's consider an example. You receive feedback at work that's less than flattering. Your initial reaction might be to defend your methods and criticize the feedback. Instead, you choose to reflect. You consider the feedback from a place of curiosity and openness. You might realize that there's room for improvement, or perhaps you see that the feedback wasn't fully informed. Either way, your response, when it comes, is measured, constructive, and devoid of ego-driven defensiveness. Reflecting instead of reacting doesn't mean you never stand up for yourself or that you accept every criticism without question. It means that your responses are thoughtful, considered, and ultimately, more effective. It's about taking control of the narrative of your life, rather than being dragged along by the whims of external circumstances or fleeting emotions. This approach doesn't just reduce conflict, it enriches your relationships. When others see that you respond with thoughtfulness and calm, even in the face of criticism or negativity, it changes the dynamic. You become someone who is respected, not just for your achievements, but for your character and wisdom. So, the next time you're on the verge of reacting impulsively, remember, reflect, don't react. It's a simple mantra with the power to transform not just the moment, but your entire approach to life's challenges. By embracing this Stoic principle, you empower yourself to navigate the world with grace, dignity, and a deep sense of inner peace. Number 3. Establish boundaries. Venturing into our third golden rule, establish boundaries. This is about recognizing and respecting your own limits and ensuring others understand them as well. It's a fundamental principle for maintaining self-respect and mutual respect in any relationship. Let's explore how this looks in action. Picture yourself in a scenario where someone's demands or behavior encroaches on your personal space, time, or values. It could be a friend who constantly expects you to be available at a moment's notice, a family member who dismisses your opinions, or a colleague who habitually oversteps professional lines. Without boundaries, these situations can lead to resentment, frustration, and a diminished sense of self-worth. Establishing boundaries means first understanding what is important to you, your values, priorities, and limits. It involves a deep reflection on what you're willing to accept and where you draw the line. The next step is communication. This isn't about issuing ultimatums or creating conflict. It's about expressing your needs and expectations in a clear, calm, and assertive manner. For instance, let's say you have a colleague who regularly delegates their work to you, eating into your personal time and impacting your own workload. Instead of acquiescing or complaining passively, you choose to establish a boundary. You might say something like, "I understand we're all trying to support each other, but moving forward, I need to focus on my own projects during work hours. Let's find a time to discuss how we can manage our workloads more effectively." This conversation does several things. It acknowledges the situation, expresses your needs, and opens the door for a constructive discussion. Most importantly, it sets a boundary that protects your time and mental well-being. Establishing boundaries is not a one-off event, but a continuous process. It requires consistency and the courage to uphold your limits, even when challenged. Remember, boundaries are not selfish. They are a necessary aspect of healthy relationships. They enable you to respect yourself and others, creating a foundation of trust and mutual respect. Embracing this rule might initially meet resistance, as change often does. However, over time, you'll find that boundaries not only preserve your well-being but also enhance the quality of your interactions. People begin to understand where you stand, and genuine relationships can flourish within these clear parameters. In essence, established boundaries is about honoring yourself and nurturing relationships that are based on respect and understanding. It's a Stoic practice of self-awareness and assertiveness that, when applied, leads to a more balanced and fulfilling life. Number 4. Focus on self-improvement. Diving into our fourth golden rule, focus on self-improvement. This principle is the bedrock of personal development and a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. It's about directing your energy inward, nurturing your growth, and becoming the best version of yourself. Instead of fixating on changing others or external circumstances, you turn the lens on your own actions, thoughts, and responses. Let's break down what this truly means. Imagine you're in a cycle of frustration because someone close to you refuses to change a behavior that bothers you. You've tried everything: talking, arguing, even altering your own behavior in hopes they'll reciprocate. It feels like hitting a wall. Here's where the shift to self-improvement changes the game. Focusing on self-improvement means asking, what can I change about myself? This isn't about blaming yourself or accepting unacceptable behavior. It's about reclaiming your power. For instance, if you're upset because someone is unreliable, consider why their actions have so much impact on your well-being. Can you develop strategies to minimize your reliance on their reliability? Can you improve your adaptability or communication skills? Self-improvement also means embracing lifelong learning, seeking out new challenges, and stepping outside your comfort zone. It's about cultivating resilience, so when life throws curveballs, you're not just ready, you thrive. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In every obstacle, there's an opportunity for growth. Let's apply this to a real-world example. You're overlooked for a promotion at work. Instead of dwelling on resentment or blaming office politics, you focus on self-improvement. You seek feedback, identify areas for development, maybe even pursue additional training or mentorship. This approach not only enhances your skills, but also demonstrates your commitment and resilience to your employer and to yourself. Focusing on self-improvement shifts your perspective from a passive recipient of life's whims to an active participant in your own destiny. It's about building a strong, resilient character, equipped to handle whatever life throws your way. It's important to note, focusing on self-improvement doesn't mean you ignore injustices or accept poor treatment from others. It means your primary response to life's challenges is self-reflection and personal growth. You control your actions, reactions, and attitudes. By committing to self-improvement, you're not just bettering yourself, you're contributing to a better world around you. In essence, focus on self-improvement is a call to action, a reminder that the most profound changes begin within. It's about continuously asking yourself, how can I grow from this? And in this relentless pursuit of personal excellence, you'll find not only peace, but a profound sense of fulfillment. Number 5, practice gratitude. Next, we explore the 5th golden rule, practice gratitude. This principle is not just about saying thank you for the good in your life. It's a profound shift in perspective that recognizes the value in every experience, be it positive or negative. Gratitude is the antithesis of ego, as it shifts focus from what we lack to the abundance we possess. Let's see how this transformative practice plays out in everyday life. Envision a day where nothing seems to go right. Your plans fall apart, your expectations are unmet, and frustration mounts. In these moments, the ego thrives on dissatisfaction, magnifying what's missing or what's gone wrong. But what if instead, you saw out the silver linings? This is where gratitude steps in. It challenges you to find something valuable in the turmoil. Perhaps it's the lesson learned from a mistake, the unexpected free time from a canceled plan, or simply the realization that you have the resilience to navigate disappointment. Practicing gratitude means making it a daily habit to acknowledge the good around you. It could be as simple as appreciating a sunny day, the comfort of a home, or the support of a friend. It's also about expressing this gratitude, not just internally, but to those around you. Imagine telling a coworker how much you appreciate their help or acknowledging a partner's patience. These acts of gratitude strengthen bonds, reduce ego-driven competition, and foster a positive environment. Moreover, gratitude has a way of multiplying. The more you practice it, the more you'll notice the good around you, often in places you least expect. It's like tuning into a frequency where opportunities and blessings are more readily seen and appreciated. An example of putting this into practice could be keeping a gratitude journal. Each night, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be grand. Even the smallest joys count. This simple act can transform your mindset, turning potential sources of frustration into opportunities for gratitude. In the words of the Stoic philosopher Seneca, a grateful mind is a great mind which eventually attracts to itself great things. By practicing gratitude, you're not just countering the ego, you're enriching your life. You're fostering a resilient, joyful spirit that can weather life's storms with grace and emerge thankful for the journey. In conclusion, practice gratitude is a powerful tool in dismantling ego. It encourages us to celebrate the present, acknowledge the contributions of others, and find contentment in what we have. Through gratitude, we cultivate a life of richness and depth, where ego has no stronghold, and joy becomes our prevailing narrative. Number 6. Be the example. Moving on to our 6th golden rule. Be the example. This principle is about embodying the values and behaviors you wish to see in the world. It's a Stoic practice that emphasizes leading by example, rather than trying to control or change others directly. Let's dive into how this can transform your interactions and personal growth. Imagine you're striving for a less ego-driven environment, whether at work, in your personal relationships, or within your community. It's easy to point out flaws in others, to critique their actions and highlight where they fall short of your ideals. However, the true challenge, and the more effective approach, is to embody the qualities you value. This means living with integrity, kindness, patience, and humility, even when it's tempting to do otherwise. Being the example is powerful for several reasons. First, it sends a clear message about what you stand for, without a word needing to be said. Your actions become a mirror, reflecting the principles you believe in. For instance, if you value open communication, make sure you're actively listening and responding with empathy. If you believe in fairness, ensure your actions are equitable and considerate, even in challenging situations. Second, leading by example has a ripple effect. People are naturally inclined to emulate behaviors they admire. When you consistently demonstrate respect, empathy, and humility, you create a template for others to follow. This doesn't mean everyone will change overnight, but you plant seeds of transformation that can grow over time. Consider the scenario of dealing with conflict. Instead of escalating the situation with defensiveness or aggression, you choose to respond with calmness and seek understanding. This approach not only diffuses the immediate conflict, but also sets a standard for how disagreements can be handled constructively. Furthermore, being the example is a journey of personal growth. It requires constant self-reflection, a willingness to admit mistakes, and the courage to improve. This path isn't always easy, as it demands authenticity and vulnerability. However, the rewards are immense, leading to deeper connections, personal integrity, and the satisfaction of knowing you're contributing positively to the world around you. In essence, Be the Example is about being the change you wish to see. It's a call to action, challenging us to live up to the best of our principles, and in doing so, inspire others to do the same. By embodying the qualities we admire, we not only counter the ego, but also foster an environment where genuine growth and understanding can flourish. Remember, the most profound influence you can have is to be a living testament to the values you hold dear. Number 7. Use soft language. Diving into our 7th golden rule, use soft language. This principle revolves around the power of words and how we choose to express ourselves. It's about adopting a communication style that is gentle yet assertive, minimizing conflict and misunderstanding. Let's explore the significance of soft language and how it can transform interactions. Soft language doesn't mean being overly passive or avoiding the truth. Instead, it's about conveying your thoughts and feelings in a way that is considerate of the listener's emotions and perspectives. It's the difference between saying, "You're wrong about this," and "I see it differently. Can we explore this together?" The former is a direct challenge, likely to raise defenses. The latter invites dialogue and understanding. Imagine you're in a situation where tensions are high and a direct confrontation seems imminent. Perhaps it's a disagreement with a partner over a sensitive topic, or a critique you need to deliver to a team member. By choosing soft language, you create an atmosphere where solutions can be found without ego battles. For instance, instead of pointing out a mistake with "you didn't do this correctly," you could say, "I think there might be another approach to this. Would you like to review it together?" This approach does several things. It respects the dignity of the other person, reduces defensiveness, and opens up a pathway to constructive conversation. It's about recognizing that how you say something is just as important as what you say. Using soft language also involves actively listening and acknowledging the other person's viewpoint, even if you don't agree with it. This acknowledgement doesn't mean you're conceding your point. Rather, you're validating their experience and emotions, which is a fundamental aspect of respectful communication. Moreover, adopting soft language is a practice of self-control and mindfulness. It requires you to pause and consider your words carefully, which in turn helps manage your emotions and reactions. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings, but rather expressing them in a manner that fosters empathy and connection. In practice, using soft language might feel awkward or unnatural at first, especially if you're used to a more direct or confrontational style. However, the benefits of this approach are profound, leading to deeper understanding, reduced conflict, and stronger relationships. It encourages a dialogue where all parties feel heard and valued, paving the way for genuine solutions and mutual respect. In conclusion, use soft language is not just a communication strategy. It's a philosophy of kindness and respect. It embodies the understanding that words have the power to heal or harm, and choosing them wisely is a form of wisdom and strength. By integrating this principle into your daily interactions, you contribute to a more compassionate and understanding world. Number 8. Encourage teamwork. Let's explore our 8th golden rule. Encourage teamwork. This principle emphasizes the importance of collaboration over competition, fostering an environment where collective goals take precedence over individual egos. It's about recognizing that we achieve more when we work together, leveraging diverse strengths and perspectives. Here's why and how encouraging teamwork can lead to greater accomplishments and more harmonious relationships. Teamwork is the antithesis of ego-driven behavior because it requires humility, openness, and the willingness to listen and integrate different viewpoints. Imagine you're part of a project group, and instead of focusing on who gets the credit, the focus shifts to how you can collectively achieve the best outcome. This shift in perspective from I to we creates a powerful synergy, where the combined efforts of the group far exceed what any individual could achieve alone. Encouraging teamwork starts with valuing each member's contribution, regardless of their role or status. It's about creating an inclusive atmosphere where everyone feels their input is valued and respected. For example, during team meetings, make a conscious effort to solicit opinions and ideas from all members, especially those who may be quieter or less confident in speaking up. Recognize and celebrate the team's achievements as collective successes rather than singling out individuals. This collaborative approach also involves dealing with conflicts and differences in a constructive manner. Instead of allowing disputes to escalate into personal battles, use them as opportunities to explore alternative solutions and compromise. By prioritizing the team's objectives over individual egos, you cultivate a culture of mutual respect and shared purpose. Moreover, encouraging teamwork extends beyond formal teams or work environments. It applies to family dynamics, friendships, and community initiatives. It's about recognizing that, together, we are stronger and can overcome challenges more effectively. This doesn't mean individual contributions aren't important. Rather, it's acknowledging that these contributions are part of a larger tapestry of collective effort. In practice, fostering teamwork might involve organizing team-building activities, setting shared goals, and facilitating open communication channels. It's also about being a role model for collaboration, showing that you are willing to listen, adapt, and support others for the common good. In conclusion, encourage teamwork is a Stoic principle that recognizes the strength in unity and the value of working together towards a common goal. It's a reminder that, while individual achievements are important, the most enduring and impactful successes are those that are shared. By promoting teamwork, we not only achieve greater results but also cultivate a sense of belonging and purpose that transcends individual egos. Number 9. Offer constructive feedback. Moving to our 9th golden rule. Offer constructive feedback. This principle is about guiding others towards growth and improvement through thoughtful and supportive feedback, rather than criticism that can deflate and demoralize. It's a skill that balances honesty with empathy, ensuring that feedback serves as a tool for empowerment rather than a weapon that wounds the ego. Let's delve into the art of offering constructive feedback and its transformative potential. Constructive feedback is rooted in the desire to see others succeed and improve. It's about identifying areas for growth and offering actionable suggestions in a way that motivates and encourages. For example, instead of saying, "Your presentation lacked clarity," you could frame it as, "I see a lot of potential in your ideas." Perhaps organizing them into key points could help convey your message more clearly. Would you like to brainstorm some ways to structure it together? This approach does several things. It acknowledges the effort and potential already present. It identifies a specific area for improvement, and it offers support in the development process. By focusing on the behavior or outcome rather than the person, you avoid making it a personal critique, which can often lead to defensiveness and discourage further effort. Offering constructive feedback also involves timing and context. It's important to choose a moment when the person is receptive and to ensure the setting is appropriate. Feedback given in private, without the pressure of an audience, allows for a more open and honest conversation. Additionally, starting with positive observations before moving on to suggestions for improvement can help the receiver remain open to your insights. Moreover, constructive feedback is a two-way street. It involves listening to the other person's perspective, understanding their challenges, and being open to dialogue. This collaborative approach not only makes the feedback more effective, but also strengthens the relationship between the giver and receiver. Practicing this principle also benefits the giver of feedback. It cultivates patience, empathy, and a deep understanding of how to communicate effectively. These are invaluable skills that transcend the immediate context of giving feedback, enriching both professional and personal relationships. In conclusion, offer constructive feedback is a Stoic principle that champions growth, learning, and mutual respect. It's a reminder that feedback, when given with care and respect, can be a powerful catalyst for improvement. By mastering the art of constructive feedback, you not only help others achieve their potential, but also contribute to a culture of continuous learning and development. Number 10. Cultivate patience. Finally, we arrive at our 10th golden rule. Cultivate patience. This principle is essential in the journey to overcome ego and foster meaningful connections. Patience is the ability to endure difficulties, delays, or frustration without getting upset or angry. It's a Stoic virtue that encourages us to accept life's challenges with grace and resilience, understanding that growth and understanding often require time. Let's delve into the significance of cultivating patience and how it can transform our interactions and personal outlook. Patience is the antithesis of the immediate gratification that ego often seeks. It requires a deep sense of calm and the understanding that not everything will happen according to our preferred timeline. Imagine you're working on a project with others, and progress is slower than you'd like. Instead of giving in to frustration or trying to force outcomes, you choose to exercise patience. This doesn't mean passivity. It means actively choosing to give the process the time it needs, recognizing that quality and understanding develop over time. Cultivating patience is also about managing expectations, both of ourselves and of others. It involves understanding that everyone has their unique pace of learning and growth. By being patient, we offer others the space to evolve and learn, just as we allow ourselves the same grace. This approach can significantly reduce conflict and misunderstandings, as it fosters an environment of support and encouragement rather than pressure and haste. Moreover, patience is a key component in developing resilience. It teaches us to weather life's storms with a calm and steady mind, knowing that most difficulties are temporary. When faced with setbacks or challenges, a patient attitude helps us to maintain our composure and find constructive solutions rather than reacting impulsively. In practical terms, cultivating patience might involve mindfulness practices, such as meditation or deep breathing exercises, which can help to calm the mind and reduce impulsiveness. It also means setting realistic expectations and breaking down goals into manageable steps, celebrating small victories along the way. Patience is particularly important in relationships. It allows us to listen more deeply, understand more fully, and respond more thoughtfully. When we're patient, we give our relationships the time they need to deepen and mature, creating stronger bonds and more meaningful connections. In conclusion, cultivate patience is a Stoic practice that reminds us of the power of enduring gracefully through life's challenges. It's about embracing the journey, with all its ups and downs, knowing that growth takes time. By cultivating patience, we not only overcome ego-driven impulses for immediate results, but also open ourselves to a richer, more fulfilling life experience. In embracing these 10 golden rules, inspired by Stoic wisdom, we learn not just to navigate, but to enrich our relationships. It's not about destroying egos, but about building bridges of understanding and respect. As Seneca beautifully put it, we are waves of the same sea, leaves of the same tree, flowers of the same garden. Let's cherish our shared journey, fostering connections that reflect our deepest values. Thank you for walking this path with me today. If this guide has enlightened your perspective, please like, share, and subscribe for more insights into living harmoniously. Until our next exploration, remain thoughtful and embrace the wisdom of Stoicism.